Hello YouTube. Now some of you saw my P51 crash into a power line a couple weeks ago. And if you haven't seen that video, I will put a link into it so you can watch that video and know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, here's my Mustang afterwards. Now, I fixed a couple other issues already that I kind of wish I would have done a video or taken pictures of, but I had not, and posting that video was something I did last minute, and it's gotten a couple views, and I've had a couple people ask me about it, about what happened, what I'm going to do. Basically, I was flying, I misjudged the distance from the power lines, came up from underneath, and obviously, as you saw in the video, the prop hit, broke the prop, and the torque on it pretty much ripped out the motor from the firewall, and it was just hanging down. Now, I filmed all that with this handy little camera from Eflite, and on the comments, or in the description for that last video, I posted what type of camera it is. Don't ask me right now, I don't know off the top of my head. Anyways, I just wanted to show you. I had it mounted underneath the fuselage right in front of the scoop. So, we'll set that aside. Now, what pretty much happened, here's the motor that you saw hanging down. Now, this back cap right here, these 4 screws is where it mounts to the motor mount inside. And then, of course, your standard wires. Well, as I was flying and I hit, it caused so much torque that, no, it did not rip off the screws from the mount. Surprise, surprise. What happened is this cheap little piece back here, which, I'm trying to do this one-handed, popped off like this. Now my camera can't focus, please excuse me, it's just a simple point and shoot camera. So, but it has threads right here where it screws in here. We'll just rip those threads completely off. Now the older type of this motor, this was plastic. Believe it or not, this is metal now, but it's like a cheap pot metal. The motor still works. There's nothing wrong with it, but obviously I can't mount it if it's not going to stay on. So I called, or I sent an email to Horizon Hobby asking them if I could just purchase this back cap, or if I can send this in and they would fix it. They informed me that no, they do not repair these motors. You have to buy a new one. $54.99 later, not including tax, I get a new motor. All for this little back cap. Kind of bull in my opinion, but it is what it is. You can't read any of that anyways. But this is a direct replacement motor for the Mustang. So, that took a couple weeks. I ordered it at my local hobby town, and it came in today, so I went and picked it up. But I'll talk about a couple other things. You can see there's this is where it hit also the power line that I have not fixed yet, and reason for that will be in a minute. Other damage was, you can kind of see it right here. This was a big hole, and there's a big hole right here. Now, I used some foam filler to fill it up. This is perfectly smooth. And then I painted over it. Now, the paint I have is, I got a big glare in this, so I apologize, but it's very apparent in the video, but the paint that I have is not exactly the exact same shade as this. There's no way I can get rid of that glare. But it actually looks worse in the video than it does in real life. But it's very close, but not the exact same. But other than that, you really can't tell. In fact, over here on the wingtip, now I've scuffed up this wingtip a lot, but I've redone it. And you can't even see the foam filler that I put on or the difference in the paint. The other issue is, now, you can kind of see it there, I installed barrels for the guns. Just a little bit something I wanted to do, make it more realistic. And of course, the same over here. Well, the issue that I had was this wing caught the ground first, and this gun was completely ripped out, leaving a huge hole right here, the size of the tip of my pinky. I could stick it in that hole. Well, I used some of the foam filler, which, by the way, is foam putty from Woodland Scenics. I love this stuff. I love it. Let's put it this way. Real easy to use. Comes in here. Just scoop it out, thumb it on, fill it, let it dry, sand it down, and paint it. Oh my God. I couldn't live without this stuff. Now, and I'll tell you why. So I filled that hole with that putty, matched it to the shape of the airfoil, let it dry, sanded it all down. Then I cut a new bar, hollow bar for the gun, took my Dremel, drilled a hole in, glued the bar in, and then once that was dry, I took that foam filler and shaped the mount for the barrel. Now, believe it or not, these are molded foam that came with the gun. Came with the plane molded onto the wing. Same for all three of these. I just drilled the hole and put in the barrels and glued it. Now, this gun number 3, I built up the foam, put it on there, dried it, sanded it, and then repainted it. And now you can't even tell that it was damaged at all. I will do the same for up here as well, only now that I've pretty much got it apart, I've decided to do something else. I don't know if you guys have seen my Airwolf build video, but I had navigation lights in that I put in. I'm going to be putting on this baby as well. So I've ordered the lights, just have to wait for them to get there, or to get here, and then I'm going to install them. So what I'll have to do is, you can see where the servo for the ailerons right here, hidden behind this servo tape. So I'm going to run the wires for the navigation lights in here, but obviously here I'm going to have to cut all this out to put it in. And then I'm going to have a strobe light here as well. And then I'll fill this in with the foam putty, smooth it out, paint it, and run it under that servo tape, and you shouldn't be able to tell. Now, in case you're wondering, this right here is a wingtip guard, skid basically, that I bought and installed. I'm not that great of a pilot, and I have a tendency to overcorrect on landing and scrape the wingtips. I've redone these tips too much. So, I installed the sabers, and one on the back here too, just to keep me from having to do it. Now, probably I'm going to have one beacon light mounted on the tail. That one's going to be a chore to do. I'm going to have the strobe lights, which I don't have on the helicopter, but I'll put them in here. The nav lights, and I'm iffy on whether I'm going to do landing lights or not. I haven't quite worked it out. I could work out the same design I did, put wiring plates so that way it turns the landing lights on or off, or I could just not turn them off, leave them on, and let the gear cover up the lights when the gear is up. I haven't decided on that. We'll see what happens. We'll see what I choose to do. It all depends. So now that I'm going to be cutting all this out, putting everything in, going to have to be repainting everything, I decided, of course, I'm going to go a step further. Since I've got it apart, since I'm going to be cutting it up, I'm going to have to pull the servo tape. I'm going to have to do the same back here so I can cut in, run things in the fuselage. So some of these decals are going to be pulled up. Of course, that decal will have to be pulled up. And the problem is when the decal is taken off, they don't stick anymore. And they rip off the paint. So I have to get more decals. So since I'm going to have more decals, anyways, another decal sheet, I've decided to do something else. Everybody has the Eflite P51 Mustang Dallas doll. Everybody. I don't want to be everybody. So, this Dallas doll sticker is coming off on both sides. And then I'm changing the paint scheme. Make it mine. I was planning on doing a tribute to the 99th Pursuit Squadron, the 332nd Group, the Tuskegee Airmen, better known as the Red Tails. But the problem I ran into, this aircraft has the D-Day invasion stripes on it. I love the invasion stripes and I don't want to take them off. The 332nd Fighter Group were in Italy. They were not over Normandy during D-Day. So therefore, no Tuskegee Airmen had invasion stripes. But, who says I have to be realistic? This is my aircraft, my radio controlled, my life. So I'm going to build my paint scheme. And I'm probably going to get complaints for it because it's not going to be historically accurate. But it's going to be mine. So I'm going to do a red tail, paint that up. Then, of course, I'm going to do the red cowling. Repaint the nose cone red and the backing plate. Then this anti-glare panel is going to be black all the way back. Probably a flat black. Now, they've got it here and then spreading out. I'm going to run it straight down and right along the battery hatch line. All the way meeting to here. And then this whole front of the canopy visor will be black as well to mount or to match the anti-glare panel here. I will keep the D-Day stripes because I love the D-Day stripes. Then I'll probably reattach these graphics. May keep the INSX. I know that's a group modifier that signifies what squadron, what group. But I might just keep it on there because I don't have any decals or anything that size. Dallas doll will disappear. I might try and get some lettering because, of course, as you know, I am Jolly Roger. So, who knows? Maybe I'll take this off and put Jolly Roger across it in quotations on both sides. So it'll be my own Jolly Roger aircraft. And of course, have to have the Jolly Roger on there. Why? Because I'm Jolly Roger. That is why. I kind of have it covered up. That way you can see the aircraft with this towel. But, well, that's a Jolly Roger too. Oh, look. We have another Jolly Roger. Anyways, so that will be the plans for this build. Navigation lights, new paint scheme, put everything in, then I'll bolt on the motor, start it up, and I'll take some pictures and maybe a video once I get it up and flying again. And see what you think. Hope you guys enjoyed so far, and hope you're excited as I am for the future plans of this aircraft. It's going to be wonderful. Thank you, and if you like, please thumbs up. Helps, gives me an idea of what more to make, more videos to do. Thank you.